Hi, dear students. Today, we are looking at a really interesting article that's part of your MA English third semester critical studies paper. And this article, the name of this article is Posthumanism, Transhumanism, Antihumanism, Metahumanism, and New Materialisms Differences and Relations. And this article is by Francesca Ferrando. Okay. Now, this article talks about some big ideas in modern thinking, like what it means to be human, how technology affects us, and new ways of looking at the world. So, Ferrando helps us understand these ideas and how they relate to each other. So, now let's explore these cool concepts. So, at the very outset, Ferrando gives us an abstract of what actually she deals with in the essay. So, posthumanism is a word that covers a bunch of different ideas about the future. Okay, it is a word that covers lots of ideas about the future and how humans fit into it. So, she says it's like a big umbrella that covers a bunch of different ideas. It includes things like using technology to change ourselves. Okay, how technology affects the lives of humans. That is basically what we talk about in transhumanism. Similarly, she also thinks about feminism, concepts like feminism, philosophies like feminism, and how it has affected us culturally, philosophically, critically, etc. So she says that because this post-humanism talks about so many different things, it can be confusing. That means we said that it is an umbrella term. It incorporates many ideas. So because of that multidisciplinary aspect, it can also be confusing. So in this essay, her task is to sort out all these ideas. So she's going to untangle all these different ideas. And we look at each of them very closely. We look at the differences between these ideas, especially between posthumanism and transhumanism. And finally, we realize that both these are two important but separate ways of looking at the future. Posthumanism and transhumanism are different things, separate ways of looking at the future. Okay, so this is her target. This is what she aims at. This is her objective, that by the end of this lesson, article, we might see that posthumanism gives us a more complete picture of what the future could be like, and we will also be able to differentiate between these concepts. Okay, so that is what she states in her abstract. Now, moving on to the introduction part. Ferrando states that in today's academic discussions, the term post-human is really important because it helps us rethink what it means to be human. Okay, so she says that this sort of rethinking of what it means to be human is especially important and urgent. Why? Because so many changes are happening in science and technology during the 20th and 21st centuries, right? So, in this context, it is highly meaningful to discuss this concept called post-humanism. That's how she begins by talking about the relevance of the concept. Now, the thing is, when we talk about post-human, we are actually talking about a bunch of different ideas. It's like an umbrella term, as I already said in the abstract, that covers a lot of different ideas, a lot of ground. We are talking about things like philosophical ideas, like technology and its impact on humans. This is what we mean by transhumanism. Then how movements like feminism have affected our life, culture, perspectives, etc. This is what we discuss in new materialism. Plus, there are other ideas like anti-humanism, post-humanities, etc. So all these come under that umbrella term called post-humanism. That's what she says. It consists of a bunch of different ideas. It's like an umbrella under which lots of things are there. Okay. So she reiterates that the problem in understanding post-humanism is exactly this multidisciplinary aspect of that concept. Because it is used to talk about so many different things, it can get really confusing. Even experts sometimes have trouble figuring it out. Even experts find it difficult to comprehend it completely. Okay? And then she says, one of the biggest areas of confusion is between posthumanism and transhumanism. One of the biggest areas of confusion is between these two concepts, which are the posthumanism and transhumanism. Because why does this confusion arise? Because these two movements share some similar interests. These two movements share some similar interests. For example, they both see humans as changeable rather than fixed. Man or human is susceptible to change. So, the post-humanists as well as the transhumanists agree to this. They agree that humans are changeable according to the context, be it social, be it cultural, be it political, be it psychological, be it physical. We are subject to change. Okay. But at the same time, they also have a lot of differences. They also come from these two movements, they come from different backgrounds and have different perspectives as well. So, this is what we are going to explore uh, in the coming lines. And so, through this essay, Ferrando is going to help us clear some of the confusion between these two movements. Ferrando states that both these ideas, posthumanism and transhumanism, they started getting popular in the late 1980s and early 1990s. So they emerged almost around the same time, but they don't come from the same beginning. They don't have the same beginning, or they don't have the same point of emergence. And nor do they see things in the same way. It's different. So, in really simple terms, it is saying that posthumanism and transhumanism are similar in some ways, but they also have their differences. They both started becoming popular in the late 1980s and early 1990s and are interested in many similar things, but they don't come from the same place or see things the same way. That's what she states there. So, after introducing the basics, she moves on to the concept of transhumanism. She begins by stating that transhumanism challenges how we understand humans. That means transhumanism doesn't just look at the past and present of humanity, but it's more interested in what humans might become in the future. Okay, so it doesn't just look at, it's not only interested in past and present of humanity, but what is its sole focus? I mean, its major focus, it's interested in what humans might become in the future. It focuses on how biology and technology could change and improve humans. So that is the first thing that transhumanists do. They challenge how we understand humans. They look up to what these humans become in future, especially in the context of the advancement in science and technology. Okay. Now, secondly, what do? The transhumanists, they aim for human enhancement. That means human enhancement is a big idea for transhumanists. What does that convey? Transhumanists really think we can make humans better, not just fix problems, but make us even stronger, smarter, and healthier. Okay? And how can we achieve that? Transhumanists believe that science and technology are the keys to make this happen. We have many advanced scientific and technological inventions. We have regenerative medicines which help us heal. We have nanotechnology working with very tiny cells or tiny stuff. We have other cool ideas like mind uploading and cryonics. Cryonics means freezing bodies. So, with the help of all these scientific and technological inventions, we can make the life of humans better. So, this is what the transhumanists aim for. The transhumanists even have a declaration called the Transhumanist Declaration of 1998. And in this declaration, they wrote down their beliefs. It says that science and technology will change humanity a lot in the future. Okay? They hope to use these changes to overcome things like getting old, having trouble related to memory loss, something like that, then health issues, being stuck on earth. So many problems. For all these concerns, for all these problems, science and technology can provide solutions and thereby make the life of humans better. So these transhumanists believe that humanity has not reached its full potential yet. But there are lots and lots of exciting possibilities for the future. So this is what they aim for. Humanity has not utilized that potential as yet. We still have many things to explore and enjoy. And with the help of science and technology, we can achieve all that. So this is what they believe. Then Ferrando says that there are different types of transhumanism. All these transhumanists focus on science and technology, but in different ways. Okay, and like that we have libertarian transhumanism. It focuses on personal freedom and minimal government intervention. In the context of human enhancement, libertarian transhumanists think that the free market, where people can freely buy and sell goods and services without much government regulation, is the best way to ensure that everyone has the right to use biotechnology to enhance themselves. So it's a sort of personal freedom. See, for example, there is a book by Ronald Bailey. It's called Liberation Biology. It's titled Liberation Biology, and which was published in 2005. And in this book, Bailey argues in favor of using biotechnology. And biotechnology is the science of using living organisms or their derivatives for human purposes. So he believes, or he argues in favor of biotechnology to improve human life and society. He makes the case that advances in biotechnology has the potential to bring about significant positive changes in society. So in this book, he argues that we need to have the freedom to pursue such advancements without government interference. Okay, so this is libertarian transhumanism. Then we have another type of transhumanism. So in democratic transhumanism, which is another type of transhumanism, which believes in fairness and equal opportunities for everyone. Okay, so in the context of human advancement, democratic transhumanists think that everyone should have the same chance to use technology to improve themselves. They worry that if only certain groups of people can access these enhancements, it would create unfair advantages based on things like money or social status. This could also enhance existing inequalities related to race and gender. For example, you think about this COVID pandemic, and everything went online, all of us suddenly, right? So there was a divide actually. People who could access, people who had these gadgets, people who could pursue their work or their studies online, and people who didn't have these gadgets and who couldn't access education or jobs or everything. Okay, so that sort of there was there was a a sort of inequality that was operating during that time. Many people had these online facilities, many people did not have these online facilities, be it the gadgets or the internet connection, whatever it is. Okay, so these democratic transhumanists, they believe that technology should be available to everybody. Okay, everybody should be able to use it to improve their lives. So if everybody cannot get this, then it will be a problem. Okay, then it will be unfair. Fine. So they worry that if everybody is not able to access it, then it will create another form of inequality. So that should not happen. They aim for that equal distribution of technology to all. Okay, and there is a book which he cites called Citizen Cyborg. That's by James Hughes, and it's published in 2004. And in this book, Hughes argues that in order to deal with the changes brought about by technology, democratic societies need to make sure that everyone has a say and that everyone benefits equally. He emphasizes that it is important to ensure that these technologies are accessible to all members of society. It should not be made available to only a few. If it operates like that, you cannot say it is enhancement of humanity, right? So if technological advancements are happening, that should be utilized, that should be accessible to all people belonging to all races and castes and creeds and everything. So that is what democratic transhumanism talks about, that everyone should have an equal chance to use technology to improve themselves. Now we move on to the third type of transhumanism, which is called extropianism. Extropianism. This is also a form of transhumanism, or a way of thinking about the future. Now, this was created by Max More, and he laid out some key ideas. one of his ideas was that humanity should always have a perpetual progress. That means we should always move forward and get better day by day. Okay. Then, second key idea of extropianism, as laid by Max More, was that there should be this thing called self transformation. We should change ourselves to become better. Thirdly, he states that there should be something called practical optimism. That means we should be hopeful about the future and we should have a positive belief that we can make it better. That's what he calls by practical optimism. And then, fourthly, he says we should use intelligent technology. For example, smart technology, smartphones. We should use it to help us better. Fine, you know the benefits of using smartphones. Even though we talk about so many disadvantages, it has its own a train of benefits as well. How it has made our lives faster, easier, better. Fine. So that's what he means by using this intelligent technology. We have to use it for better lives, better future. That's what he says. Then he talks about an open society. Open society, that means we should be able to share information freely and let everyone have a say in decisions. There should not be any inequality prevailing. Everybody should get everything. Information should be passed to all, and everybody can come up with their decisions and opinions. Okay. Another aspect that Max More states in his concept of extropianism is self-direction. Self-direction. What is that self-direction? Self-direction means we should be in control of our own lives. We should not allow any external forces to control our lives. We should be in control of our own lives. That's what he means by self-direction. Then he says rational thinking. We have to use our logic and our reason to make correct decisions. Okay, so these are the features that Max More laid out in what he means by extropianism: a perpetual progress, a self-transformation, practical optimism, intelligent technology, then open society, self-direction, and rational thinking. Now, Max More wrote down these ideas in a document called Principles of Extropy, which was published in 2003. And in this document, he explains what extropianism is all about and how these principles guide us for a better future. Okay. So these are the different kinds of transhumanism that Ferrando talks about. Then she says that transhumanism roots in the Enlightenment. That means transhumanism, which is all about using science and technology to improve humans, has its ideas based on the Enlightenment period, that is the 18th century. This was a time when people started valuing reason, progress, and being hopeful about the future. We have talked about Dryden and Pope and Age of Enlightenment and Neoclassicism, Age of Reason, and all those things in English literature. So, transhumanism, according to Ferrando, she says, has its roots in that Enlightenment because there was a focus on reason and progress and that optimistic nature about the future. So, transhumanism is like ultra humanism, she says. It goes even further than regular humanism. That's why it's called ultra humanism. It believes in using technology to make the life of humans better than they are now. So it goes beyond that normal range. That's why it's called ultra humanism as well. However, there are people who criticize this philosophy, this concept of transhumanism. And what do they say? Some people think that by being so focused on progress and technology, transhumanism loses sight of some important human values. There are human values, right? Like kindness, mercy, love, brotherhood, etc. So, by focusing too much on progress and futuristic technology and science and all these things, they are criticized for losing sight of these values. So, this idea weakens the message of transhumanism. According to some critics, this weakens the message that is intended to convey by the transhumanists. So, in simple terms, transhumanism is based on Enlightenment ideas and it wants to use technology to make humans better. But some people think it might forget about other important human values along the way. Next, Ferrando talks about how people in Western societies have always seen humans as more important than anything else. like animals or nature. And this idea, she says, has been around for a long time, and it has been influenced by ancient philosophers and religious texts. So she refers to a historical hierarchy which prevailed in Western societies, especially. Humans have been viewed as superior to everything else, and it created a hierarchy where humans are at the top and everything else is below them. Okay, and this hierarchical view was popularized by the concept called the Great Chain of Being. And this concept called the Great Chain of Being, it ranked all living things, including humans, angels, animals, in a structured order. And this idea originated from philosophers like Plato and Aristotle, as well as religious texts like the Bible, Old Testament of the Bible. And Ferrando finds that this hierarchical thinking continued through Christian interpretations during the Middle Ages, Renaissance, and into the 18th century. You have a study on this by Arthur O. Lovejoy. His book is called The Great Chain of Being, a study of the history of an idea. And in this book, he explores this concept in detail. Which concept? The great chain of being, wherein, according to that historical hierarchy, humans are placed at the top. Okay? And this hierarchy not only elevated humans over animals, but also influenced societal norms and beliefs. Fine? Humans became the prime center of everything. Everything was controlled and decided by keeping man at the center or human at the center. Fine? All other living beings came under him. Fine? But then she says that in history, when you look at history, even though man or human was at the center, you can also find many inequalities and injustices or differences within that human species as well. Fine. This such differences led to unfair treatment of certain groups of people like women, African Americans, LGBTQ individuals, and people with disabilities. For example, during slavery, slaves were treated like objects that could be bought and sold. So, this hierarchy has also led to sexist, racist, classist, homophobic, ethnocentric attitudes, where certain groups of people were marginalized and treated unfairly. So, this is another criticism aimed at the transhumanists, that the transhumanists focus on enhancing humanity, but they overlook the history of inequality and discrimination that the humans have suffered. Okay, transhumanists, according to critics, it presents a generic and a one size fit all idea of humanity. It doesn't consider the diverse experiences and struggles of different groups, because the realities, the life circumstances, the lifestyles of people belong to one community or one religious community or society or geographical space. All this is different. So we have to consider all those diverse experiences. But critics say that transhumanists don't consider all these diverse experiences. They have a very general, and one size fits all idea of humanity, which doesn't consider these diverse experiences. Okay. Next, she warns the transhumanists that if we focus a lot on science and technology only to change and improve humans, we might overlook some important things, she says. Okay? That means she says that if we only focus on technology as the main way to make humans better, it could create a problem called techno reductionism. So, techno reductionism means that we might start thinking that technology is the only important thing and forget about other important parts of being human, like emotions and relationships. So, she warns about the dangers of techno reductionism within transhumanism. If people only think technology can solve everything, it might lead to neglecting other essential parts of human life. And such a narrow focus could result in a society where technology is seen as more important than people's feelings or experiences. It could also create inequality, as not everyone has equal access to technology. So, Ferrando suggests it's important to consider all aspects of being human and not just the technological advancements. Moreover, she states that we should have a global perspective. That means it highlights that while many people in developed countries have access to technology, a significant portion of the world's population does not have it. And their experiences should not be overlooked when we discuss about the future of humanity. Fine. So we should have a global perspective. We should look at something which is uh, not so idealistic, but which is practical, which can be made realistic, or which can be accessible to all. So she suggests that transhumanism should be looked at from a wider perspective. Instead of just looking at a sect of people or just focusing on technology, we should consider it from a broader perspective. And for that, she suggests posthumanism as an alternative. See how this is, the idea is evolving. Now she says posthumanism is an alternative. Posthumanism because it's another way of thinking about the future of humanity. But it is a much better point, she states. Why? Because unlike transhumanism, it considers the other aspects of life as well. Transhumanism, the sole focus is on technology for the betterment of humans. But in posthumanism, it takes a more comprehensive approach, which includes technology as well as other aspects of human life. Okay, so that is how she concludes transhumanism. So, hope you have now got a very clear understanding of what transhumanism is actually about. Now, let's look at what is posthumanism. We have completed the introduction, which was the first section. The second section was about transhumanism. The third section of the essay is titled Posthumanist Technologies. And in this passage, or this part, Ferrando discusses the different perspectives of posthumanism and transhumanism on technology. How do they both consider technology? See, both posthumanism and transhumanism have different approaches to technology, as we already said. Both of them are interested in technology, but they look at it in different ways. And for that, they think that understanding the history and nature of technology is important for grasping this posthuman agenda. It's important for posthumanism, what understanding the history and nature of technology. However, it doesn't make technology the main focus. It means posthumanist does not consider technology as the main focus. So this is that point of convergence between posthumanism and transhumanism. For transhumanists, technology is very important. They have something like a sole focus on technology because this technology will help us to have better lives in future. But posthumanist does not see technology as something to be afraid or something to be worshipped. It is not considered by posthumanists as a divine force that will guarantee humanity's future after biology. But they consider it as a natural part of being human. Then she says that both transhumanists and posthumanists share a common notion, which is the notion of technogenesis. This concept is explained by Catherine Hales in her work Wrestling with Transhumanism. And it refers to the idea that technology is deeply ingrained in human existence. Okay, it suggests that humans and technology have evolved together over time, and we have become interconnected in significant ways. So, this concept highlights the inseparable relationship between humans and technology, emphasizing that technology is not just a tool used by humans, but also it shapes human identity and evolution. Okay, so this is a notion. This notion of technogenesis is something which posthumanism and transhumanism agree to. Both say that it is important, or it is a part of that evolutionary process of human life. Just imagine we being separated from all that technological things or gadgets that we are using, like mobile phones, even kitchen utensils, even very small things that we use daily. We are so much impacted by all these technological inventions. It has become part of our life. So it is a part of human evolution. That's what the notion of technogenesis talks about. Okay, so both of them agree to that concept. Next, she gives a turn to this discussion about technology in the context of posthumanism, and she says how it has been influenced by feminism. She states the ideas presented by Donna Haraway in her concept of the cyborg. Haraway challenges traditional ways of thinking by breaking down strict divisions and boundaries. For example, she questions the distinction between human and non human animals, as well as between biological organisms and machines. So, here, what she intends to convey is that this Donna Haraway's idea of the cyborg, it challenges the idea of humans and machines as being separate. Instead, she suggests that we are already cyborgs. Humans are already cyborgs because we rely on technology to enhance our abilities. For example, think about how people use smartphones as an extension of themselves for communication, navigation, entertainment, accessing information. For each and everything, we rely on the smartphones now. So, how can we now say that we both are separate? Now, me along with my smartphone completes me. That's the idea. Okay, so human and machine are not separate like a human and non-human, or a human and animal, or other differences. Similarly, you can also take the example of this robotic prosthetics. People who have disability, they can have robotic assistance for movement, for hearing, or for any sort of disability that they have. Okay, so it enhances their abilities, and it also blurs the line between human and machine. Or you can even think about how the artificial intelligence can now mimic human behavior. So, all these are raising questions about what it means to be a human. The definition that we had until now about what is a human has now changed. Right? That's what she's talking about. And we have to accept this change. This is a process of evolution. Now we are in a state of technological revolution, and technology has become part of our life. We cannot divorce ourselves from technology, it's a part of our life. Okay, so accept that change. So, what she conveys is that technology is a big part of who we are, and it is influenced by concepts like Donna Haraway's concept of the cyborg, which challenges traditional boundaries between humans and machines. So, she says that humans and technology are closely connected and should be studied together, not separately. She cites Martin Heidegger, who was a German philosopher known for his works on existentialism and phenomenology. And he was one who explored the nature of being, technology, and human existence in his writings. So, Ferrando cites Heidegger, and who said that technology isn't just a tool we use. Instead, he believed that technology shows us things about the world. So it's not just about what technology does for us, but also about what it teaches us about ourselves and our surroundings. Okay, through the use of, for example, internet or television or other media facilities, we are becoming more and more aware of our surroundings, about our world, about our society, about where we live, what is happening around us, the politics, the culture, trends and tendencies, everything. Okay, so technology is teaching us more and more about ourselves and our surroundings. So, how can we divorce technology from us, from the humans? It's impossible. Okay, so we have to accept technology as part of ourselves. She also cites the French philosopher Michel Foucault. And Foucault introduced the concept of technologies of the self. And he explored this idea in his seminar at the University of Vermont. Okay, and this idea was later published as an essay by Foucault titled Technologies of the Self, and it was published in 1988. Now, what is this concept that he refers to? This concept, Technologies of the Self by Foucault, it refers to the ways individuals shape and control themselves through various practices and techniques, such as meditation, journaling, self reflection, etc. We use different techniques to shape us, change our habits, to change our bad habits, or to motivate us to make improvements, etc. So we do all such, many people employ all such techniques or different techniques to make a better version of themselves, right? They sometimes use meditation, do yoga, do some journaling, reflection, self-reflection. Okay, so Foucault's work shed light on how individuals actively participate in shaping their own identities and behaviors through these self-directed technologies. That's what he means by technologies of the self. So, in short, she says that posthumanism is a praxis. That means it is like a way of doing things. It's not just a theory, it's something very practical. Okay? It says that the way we imagine the future is connected to how we act now. For example, that means, for example, let's say we think about moving to space in the future. Okay, posthumanism might say, yeah, that's cool to think about, but we shouldn't try to take over other planets. Okay, it's like saying, hey, let's explore space. Let's go to space. Let's enjoy looking at the other planets and all those universe, stars, and dust and all those things. But let's not take over other planets or other places. Let's not just do space colonization. Let's do space migration, space exploration, but not colonization. So this is what posthumanists or and transhumanists do. They look at the same idea, but they look at it differently. So both posthumanists and transhumanists, they look at the future and how technology can help people achieve better aspects in life, but the way they look at it is different. For transhumanists, technology is so important, but for posthumanist, technology is a part of life. It's a part of the process. Okay, it's a part of that evolution. So this is how they look at the same point, but from different perspectives. So that is the third part, post-human technologies.